Today is half angle problems. So we have our half angle formulas from our note card. Okay, and you're going, I don't remember those. Well, let's have a quick review. The sine of 1/2 x equals positive or negative the square root of, is it 1 minus cosine squared of x over 2? Oh, it's what? No squared. So 1 minus cosine of x over 2. And the cosine of 1/2 x is positive or negative 1 plus the cosine of x over 2. And then the tangent of 1/2 x, there's 3 of them, is plus or minus the square root of 1 minus cosine of x over 1 plus cosine of x. And it is also equal to, and I don't remember, it is sine of x over 1 plus cosine of x, or 1 minus cosine of x over sine of x. This is the last one, is the one I use most often for half angle formulas. All right, so let's say that we have the sine of 75 degrees. And we're going to use a half angle formula because 75 degrees isn't on our unit circle, is it? It is not. So this is the same as the sine of 1/2 of 150 degrees. Because half of 150 is 75, right? So we go positive or negative. Now, what quadrant is the sine of 75 in? First quadrant. So is it going to be positive or negative? Positive. So we're just going to use a positive square root. And we're going to go 1 plus the cosine of 150 degrees over 2. Now we're going to simplify this bad boy. The cosine of 150 degrees is square root of 3 over 2. Negative square root of 3 over 2. Now we're going to multiply, since we have a complex fraction in there, we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by 2 to get rid of that top fraction. So it's the square root of 1 minus, or 2 minus the square root of 3 over 4. See what just happened there? Distributed the 2 on the top. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 square root of 3 over 2 is just square root of 3. And then 2 times 2 is 4. And then we take the square root of the top, which is the square root of 2 minus the square root of 3. And the square root of the bottom, which is, what's square root of 4? 2. So we have a double radical there. And it is legal to have a double radical inside a radical. Yes, Ethan Brown.
On my note card, I have it written that like.
It's 1 minus cosine of 150.
Yeah.
Come on, Mr. Bierschbach. You can't be screwing this up like this. And minus a negative is plus a positive. So it should be 2 plus the square root of 3. There you go. Now, let's check our answer, because maybe you don't trust me. All right, so I got to change from radian mode to degree mode. I was in radian mode for. So if we go the sine of 75 degrees, that equals that decimal. And then if we go parentheses, the square root of 3 plus inside, we'll put the square root of 2, get out of there, and then all divided by 2, because that's what we ended up with, right? Square root of 3, the square root of 3 plus the square root of 2, all over 2. We get, oh, yeah, there we go. Thank you. I'm good at messing up today. It's a Monday.
Everybody beat you to it.
There, now it matches. Okay. All right. All right, now let's take the cosine of 165 degrees. That's the same as the cosine of 2 times 330 degrees, correct? 1/2 of 330 degrees. It's Monday, man. Smelled too many paint fumes this weekend. No. Yep. So, cosine of 165 degrees. What quadrant is 165 degrees? 2. What's the sign of the cosine in quadrant 2? Negative. So this is a negative square root of 1 plus the cosine of 330 over 2. Trust me? No, it's 1 plus. For the cosine?
Yeah, I have it written down as a negative. Am I wrong?
You're wrong. It's a plus for that one. Because the sine one is negative and the cosine one is positive.
I just had it written down.
Okay, what's the cosine of 330 degrees? Looking on your note card.
That'd be square root of 3 over 2.
Positive square root of 3 over 2. Now, how can I get rid of that complex fraction in there?
Multiply by 2.
Multiply by 2. So we get negative square root of 2 plus the square root of 3 over 4. And I have one more simplification to do. It is the square root of 4 is 2. So if I'd want to check that one, and I actually use the right answers this time. Okay, it is this, but a negative in front, right? So I take this, and I have a negative in front. Which is negative of that. And then if I take the cosine of 165, it is that. Just a way to check your answers. Okay? All right. So that's a cosine one. Let's do a tangent one. Let's say we have the tangent of negative 15 degrees. Well, that's the tangent of 1/2 of what? Half of what is negative 15? Negative 30. So, what formula do I use? I like the last one, which is 1 plus the cosine of negative 30 over the sine of negative 30. 1 minus. What's the cosine of negative 30 degrees?
Square root of 3 over 2.
Positive square root of 3 over 2. What's the sine of negative 30 degrees? Negative 1/2. How do I get rid of the negative 1/2 on the bottom? Multiply by 2. And I can just multiply by a negative 2 right off the bat. Because then that gets rid of that negative down there. So if I multiply by a negative 2, I get negative 2 plus the square root of 3 over 1, which is just that, negative 2 plus the square root of 3. Again, should we check our answer? Not a bad idea. What's negative 2 plus the square root of 3? What is the tangent of negative 30? Uh-oh. Tangent of negative 15. Good one. There we go. Now it matches. Wow. Such a bad day. All right. Let's do another one. The sine of pi over 8. That's the sine of 1/2 of pi over 4. Which pi over 8 is in what quadrant? 1. So it's the sine of the square root of 1 minus the cosine of pi over 4 all over 2, right? What's the cosine of pi over 4? There's no sign in front of there. I'm finding the sign. The positive or negative. Because if we look at this one, see how this one was negative? The cosine one. So the cosine of pi over 4 is square root of 2 over 2. What can I do at the top and bottom? Multiply by 2. And I get what? 2. 2 minus the square root of 2 over 4, which is square root of 2 minus square root of 2 over 2.
Yeah, would that be like?
Man, I'm really hoping they calm me down and just send me. God's following. Tracy would go to the office. Never mind, man. Take my bad.
Let's take 2 coke busting.
You guys have a headache?
Rowers, get a coach bus. I said I like it works. I'm gonna bring a little cot to like the middle section. Sleep on. It's everybody. Everybody. Tried to deal with Lance again. You know, you never know what Lance and Parker are gonna be.
Wait, where is it at?
I'm trying to be daddy.
Right here. When do we get out?
Upper class can get the buddy dance. Like, you know, like, never understand that. I understand like experience.
Are we at home?
It's like Abby's.
Oh, so we just don't come to school.
It's like having.
Alright.
Whatever. It's like drafting. And then someone like,
Okay.
what's a good example? Someone like you train.
I still have beach study.
I don't know a name. With like a 4-year practice card.
Okay.
You can have the
I mean, I'm not. I'm just like, what?
You know what I mean?
Should we do one more?
No.
No, it's just
No?
Yeah.
No.
No more, huh? You've had enough of me making mistakes? So please don't make as many mistakes as what I made. I can do it. I just wasn't. I didn't have a note card in front of me, and yeah, it kind of. Yeah, I had good excuse of no note card. I'm pretty good at them, but I guess obviously I'm not super at them. Let's do 9 through 17 the odds. I'll make it easy. 9 through 17 the odds.
Yeah, 9 through 10. Randomly sending you one wood.
Sorry.